John tried once more, guiding her through the moment with care. But then, in an instant, Sandra let out a scream so loud it broke the quiet of the night. "Please stop. I can't do this anymore. I beg you." Her cry echoed through the village, waking those who had been deep in sleep. Villagers quickly rushed out of their huts, eyes wide with confusion and concern. They gathered outside John's home, drawn to the sound of the scream. Among them was Sandra's father, Mr. Ebuka, his face tight with worry and anger. "What's going on in there?" Mr. Ebuka demanded, his voice filled with both concern and frustration. Mr. Ebuka shouted, pounding on John's door with force. "Open this door! We heard a woman scream. What have you done to her?" Sandra sat down, her heart racing. She had always imagined this moment with John, but now that it was happening, she felt scared. What is this?" she said, her voice shaking. She moved back to a corner, her eyes wide with shock. "Were they this big?" she asked quietly, unsure. The happy feeling she had before was gone, replaced by fear. Her hands shook and tears started to fill her eyes. I can't do this," she whispered, her voice cracking as tears fell down her face. She had always imagined this night with John, her first time, but never like this. She had looked at him and thought she could handle it. But now that he was right in front of her, it felt impossible. John, seeing her fear, stood up quickly. His heart hurt. Seeing her in tears, he knelt beside her, his voice soft and full of concern. "Sandra, please don't be like this. You know I love you. I've been waiting for this moment with you for so long," he said, his eyes shining with emotion. With gentle care and concern, John softly said, "I promise I'll be patient. I want to be with you, but I'll take my time." Sandra's breath was shaky as she replied, "But I'm scared, John. I've never done this before. I don't know if I can." John leaned in closer, his voice comforting and calm. The small room was filled with tension. The desire to be close was strong, but fear also lingered. Both of them longed for this moment, their hearts silently hoping for guidance, wishing for something to make everything feel right. The air seemed to hold its breath as they faced this uncertain moment together. In a moment filled with soft words and gentle reassurance, John tried once more, guiding her through the moment with care. But then, in an instant, Sandra let out a scream so loud it broke the quiet of the night. Her cry echoed through the village, waking those who had been deep in sleep. Villagers quickly rushed out of their huts, eyes wide with confusion and concern. They gathered outside John's home, drawn to the sound of the scream. Among them was Sandra's father, Mr. Ebuka, his face tight with worry and anger. "What's going on in there?" Mr. Ebuka demanded, his voice filled with both concern and frustration. Mr. Ebuka shouted, pounding on John's door with force. "Open this door! We heard a woman scream. What have you done to her?" Inside the hut, John froze, his heart racing as the reality of the situation sank in. "That's your father," he whispered, his voice trembling with dread. Sandra lay on the bed, her body shaking, pain surging through her. She felt weak and fear clouded her mind. "I'm so sorry, Sandra," John pleaded, his voice filled with guilt. "I didn't mean to hurt you." Sandra could barely move, her body exhausted, and her thoughts in a haze of fear. "What are we going to do? My father is..." she whispered, unable to finish her sentence, her voice shaking. The banging on the door grew louder and more furious. "John, open this door right now before I break it down," Mr. Ebuka roared. Without hesitation, Mr. Ebuka kicked the door, sending it crashing to the ground. Chaos erupted as John and Sandra stood frozen, their hearts pounding as they faced her father and the villagers. Meanwhile, John was no ordinary man. He was tall, dark, and strikingly handsome, with a presence that turned heads wherever he went. His ebony skin shone like polished stone under the sun, melting the hearts of many young women in the village. Sandra, on the other hand, was known for her beauty and even more for her principles. She believed in staying pure until marriage, a decision that often made her the topic of gossip among her peers. Her friends, especially Amaka and Faith, never understood her. "Sandra, who are you keeping yourself for?" Amaka would tease, shaking her head. "This is in the olden days. Men don't wait anymore." Faith laughed, adding, "You'll just grow old waiting for a man who will probably leave you after the first fight. Wise up, my friend." But Sandra only smiled at their comments. "I'm waiting for someone who will respect me and my choices. If he can't wait, then he's not the one for me." Her resolve didn't stop men from pursuing her, though. Sandra had caught the attention of nearly every eligible bachelor in the village, including Obinna, the son of a wealthy trader. Obinna was persistent, showering her with gifts, sweet words, and promises. "Sandra, I'll give you the world if you say yes to me," he would say. But when she told him about her decision, his tone changed. "Who will wait for you, Sandra? This is the modern world. You better wake up before you lose all your chances," he said angrily one evening after she turned him down yet again. Sandra's heart ached, but she stood her ground. "If you can't wait, then you're not the man for me," she said firmly. Her last relationship ended painfully when she found the man she thought understood her in the arms of another woman. She had gone to visit him one evening, carrying a basket of his favorite snacks, only to find him laughing and holding another woman in his home. "I'm a man, Sandra. I have feelings too," he said, almost unapologetically. Sandra left that day, her heart broken, but a resolve stronger than ever. She prayed and waited, and then John came into her life. John was different. He wasn't just handsome, he was kind, respectful, and patient. When Sandra told him about her beliefs, he didn't scoff or argue. Instead, he smiled and said, "I understand. We'll wait until the time is right." Their relationship blossomed, and soon the whole village was talking about Sandra and John. People admired them, though a few still whispered, "Can he really wait? Let's see how long this lasts." Sandra and John proved everyone wrong. They courted for 9 months and got married. Fast forward to their first night. The villagers who rushed out when they heard the scream. The villagers thought something terrible had happened to Sandra, but instead they began gossiping. "After keeping herself till marriage, now she's disturbing the whole village. Maybe she doesn't even know what to do," one added, laughing. Mr. Ebuka, Sandra's father, sat them down and asked, "What is the problem?" After hearing about their struggles, he listened carefully and nodded. "Marriage is about patience and understanding," he said. "If you're struggling, there's no shame in seeking help. The two of you will go and see a counselor who can guide you." Taking his advice, Sandra and John met with a counselor who helped them work through their fears and expectations. With time, patience, and love, they grew closer than ever. The villagers who had once mocked them soon stopped when they saw how happy and successful Sandra and John had become. They had 3 beautiful children, and their home was always filled with laughter and love Sandra's story became a lesson in the village. Her patience, faith, and determination inspired others, and her marriage to John showed everyone that true love is built on respect, understanding, and trust. Moral lesson of the story: life can push people into desperate situations, but with patience, faith, and determination, one can overcome obstacles. Sandra's story teaches us that true love is founded on respect, understanding, and trust. When faced with challenges, seeking help and support can lead to growth and happiness. If you enjoyed this story and learned something valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Niger Trends TV for more inspiring content. Your support means a lot to us, and we always look forward to bringing you more amazing stories. Thank you for watching.